Joining me is Miss Universe Zozibin Tunzi. Let's jump straight into conversation with her. Thank you so much for joining us on Newzroom Afrika.
Thank you for having me.
You are gorgeous. Let's just begin there.
Today.
Yes. So how's it been? Tell us how the time of you being Miss Universe has been. And I mean, we're definitely going to go into the pandemic, but just you coming into that space of a global stage.
It's been absolutely amazing. Anything to put Africa out there on the map, you know. I'm very proud of where I'm from and who I am. And so every time I get to go out there, if I'm able to do that, it's quite incredible. It's been different, you know, getting a reception from many parts of the world, learning about these different cultures, learning about how they do things, learning about current events happening across the world. You know, it's very interesting, and being embraced by these people as well has been amazing. And so, yeah, it's been good.
Okay, now the pandemic happens, and you are the reigning Miss Universe. How did that impact your reign in as far as being able to reach out to the entire world is concerned?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, in positive ways and in negative ways. Negatively in a sense that as a Miss Universe, most of your job is to travel and to be very hands-on with a lot of communities across the world. And so I wasn't really able to do that because everyone had closed off their countries. There was no traveling. So in that sense, it was very difficult. But on a more positive light, traveling is not what makes you a Miss Universe. You know what you stand for, your voice, you know, your heart, your job. It doesn't really mean you have to travel to do it. And so because we're also very lucky to be living in a digital age, I was able to still do my job, to still send my message across. Even if I was doing it from my bedroom or my living room, my message never died and my voice was never silenced. And I was still able to deliver the message. And quite frankly, it even went more further than it probably would have if I was there hands-on in person.
One of your messages was, of course, the issue around gender-based violence. And I mean, our President Ramaphosa, coming out to say it's a pandemic on its own. So how were you able to still continue the work around making people aware of the harsh realities of women, not just in South Africa, of course, now you're in a global stage?
Absolutely. You know, I always tell people the first step towards any kind of social change is awareness. And I think that's the part and role that I've been trying to play with my platform, using my platform to just really always speak the truth, even if it is difficult, because I know, I'm aware of the platform that I have. I'm aware of how many people are listening when I speak, and so I try to, you know, speak to these social issues as much as I can. And so I've been able to do that, you know, through amazing people like, you know, the United Nations, UN Women, just so many incredible organizations that I've had to work with. Different activists from all across the world who have come to my platform that I've used. You know, I started a platform, #Universe United, where I would bring people from all walks of life to have these conversations with me about these global issues. You know, whether it was gender-based violence, you know, homophobia, whether it was, you know, racism. It's just so many things came into play during this time. But yes, absolutely, gender-based violence is a pandemic, not only in South Africa, but, you know, across the world. Women are truly an endangered species.
There's obviously red tape in trying to break through so many things that were systematically locked up for many women, black women in particular. How were you able to go through those challenges and to ensure that when you leave, you've left your mark and you were able to say, I've opened this door for the next black girl? I mean, your slogan has been,
take up space. I think the mere fact that I won the pageant, it started that night. When people ask me, when do you think your work start, or where do you start? And I say it started the minute that I took the decision as a black, you know, South African woman to put myself out there and to say, you know, this is not a space that we're used to. This is not a space that, you know, we've been accepted in the past before, and, you know, somebody needs to break the mold. And I think that's when my job began. And I think, yeah, that's what I've done so far in continuing to be present in this space, in continuing to taking up this space and, you know, not shying away from it, not feeling like some kind of imposter syndrome, but showing them that it's possible, that you can be here and that this is where you need to be. And so I'm hoping that that has helped so many women in so many levels and platforms of their lives. Doesn't necessarily have to be a beauty pageant. It could be at work, at your corporate work, because, you know, black women are struggling to climb up the corporate ladder. It could be in your home. The family structures at home are very patriarchal as well. And so it could have helped someone, you know, lift up their voice and be done with the patriarchy at home. So, yeah, that's what I've been hoping to do with my message, and I'm hoping it really did get across to so many women.
Education is another issue that we are dealing with, not only in South Africa, but the African continent is really struggling to break through those barriers within the education system. Now comes COVID, where children have to stay at home, and you mentioned your mother is a school principal where they were locked up, and we're not even able to use technology because of the kind of social dynamics that they are set up in. Talk to us about how that made you feel.
I mean, like I said, the pandemic has exposed so many things that are going wrong and so many things that need fixing, whether it's the healthcare sector or the education sector or human settlements for that matter. There's just so many things that have a lot of holes, you know, that could be fixed. But yes, education was so heartbreaking for me to see that there were children who went for months without studying because they didn't have access to the Wi-Fi or access to computers. I mean, in university, there's people, this is actually interesting because I was having a conversation with one of the contestants as we were interviewing them. You know, she says there were people in varsity where she is when they had to go back home who had never even logged into a computer before because they'd never really learned any computer in their schools. They've never had it until high school and until they left, which is, you know, it's quite ridiculous in 2020, and just so much more needs to be done about it.
So now you're obviously going to be judging this year. Yes. What are you looking forward to the most? And as far as the selection process is concerned, it's interesting that you said, oh my God, this is what they were doing to us last year. So what are you going to be looking out for? And what is your message, not only for the next Miss South Africa, but of course for many other girls in South Africa, black, white, colored, Indian? What should be that one thing that distinguishes us as South African women from the world?
Absolutely. So many factors that distinguish us. I mean, I remember being asked this question as well when I got to Miss Universe. They said, you know, South Africa's been doing really great. We had, you know, Demi Lee winning Miss South Africa. We had Tammin Green who came in as first runner-up. And they were like, what do you think that is? And I was like, maybe it's in the water. I don't know. But I think we just come from a line of so many strong women. I mean, if we look at the women of 1956, they are evidence of how powerful and extremely courageous and brilliant South African women are. It's just in us. I mean, we've inherited it from those women, so we've had no choice but to be great because of circumstances. And so I think circumstances have sharpened us as women to be, you know, the strong people that we are. And I hate using the word strong when I describe women because I feel like it's what we've had to be, and we don't have to be. We shouldn't have to be. But circumstances of the world are making us, you know, that. But yes, it's just we couldn't deny the line of women who come from. And so that's why we're who we are today. I guess we're just taking the torch that those women left for us and putting the work forward and passing it on to the next women.
Now, thank you. Before I let you go, just what should we expect from you after your reign? And also what you did during lockdown. We saw you singing. We saw you keeping yourself busy.
Yes, I was, you know, when you're alone, you start trying to, you know, kick off time, doing different things. We saw people cooking, which I didn't get into because I was very lazy to do that. So I was just like, you know, I'm always singing alone in my room. Maybe I should just take videos of myself. So that was fun. But, you know, future-wise, a lot of things that I really, you know, can't speak on right now because it's things that can't be revealed, but very, very exciting stuff coming up into the future for me, and I'm excited to, you know, reveal it when I can.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was the lovely Miss Universe Zozibin Tunzi giving us a few minutes of her busy schedule, and that's where we leave it for now. For Newzroom Afrika on channel 405, I'm Athi Mtongana in Cape Town.